Happy New Year's, everybody. Welcome into the Dynasty Mafia podcast. It is 2021. We made it through 2020. A lot of people didn't think we could, but we did. We are here now at week 17. As much as it doesn't matter for fantasy, because you obviously should have had your championship game last week. Hopefully you are the champion of your league or multiple leagues. But it's just fantastic that Week 17 is here for the NFL in general, and that we even just get to talk about playoffs, which is what some of the things we're gonna do today. So again, welcome in. I'm your host Antonio Dynasty, and with me as always, Keenan and Eric. What's going on today, fellas? New Year's Day going live for everybody.
Yeah, wow. It's nice to see you guys. Happy New Year to both of you. Can't believe that the season's over, and can't believe I only won 2 championships. How about you guys?
Yeah, I got 3, so I went up on you.
Oh.
But yeah, Happy New Year. I'm just glad that we got through the season. There was so many people before the season saying there was no way it was going to finish.
Anthony.
But yeah, we made it. So
yeah.
So we're here
we have
now.
to keep, Yeah, you got to keep you had to keep everything open. You got to stay water. We really didn't have a lot of issues, thankfully. But I'll tell you one thing. I didn't get a championship this year, redraft or dynasty, but I did win the Fantasy Cares Eliminator I've been talking about. So that was really exciting to do. But it really seemed like a lot of leagues. I don't know, I don't know how to explain it, I guess, but like a lot of people that usually don't win were winning in leagues that I was in. And I don't know really how to take that. But a lot of good people, a lot of people that I respect in the community, know in the community, and then even you guys, we didn't have as good of years as usual. And I think that has to do with, obviously, COVID, but a lot of players just underperformed. A lot of elite stars underperformed.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. I think it's more players underperforming, and I think I made the prediction earlier before the season started. I said that no rookies would make an impact in this season because of COVID issues, but I felt like this year more than any other year we had rookies dominate in some weeks. You had Justin Jefferson dominate weeks. You had Jonathan Taylor last few weeks. Clyde Edwards-Helaire had a couple great games. I guess I was completely wrong on that, where I completely in redraft stayed away from rookies and try to grab Mark Andrews in the second round.
Yeah, that's I was on more of the proactive train of the rookies. I know we talked about wide receivers, especially how many could get over 1,000 yards. Of course, what's happened is crazy, especially the last 2 years with what we've seen with wide receivers and running backs. But a lot of first round busts, right? CMC got injured. MT got Michael Thomas was injured.
Barkley
Barkley went down. Kamara had a horrible stint for a few games when you really needed him. When Drew Brees was out. Zeke, obviously, with Dak going down. Clyde Edwards-Helaire had so much hype. Miles Sanders got injured. It really was digging in the trenches here. It was bad. It really was like if you had an amazing quarterback, one of those top 6 or 7 that kind of moved themselves away from everybody else. That really helped make up for any issues that you kind of had. And obviously Travis Kelce doing what he did. I think he's leading the league in yards right now. So he's obviously.
And I was completely wrong on that too. I said that he'd my bold statement. We got to go back and look at those. But that one bold statement, I said that he'd end up the 3rd tight end this year, and he is, dominating still. So
slapped you in the face.
Hey, you said McCaffrey wouldn't be in the top 5, so
Hey, and that was my big one. Got it right. I did say, injury can play a factor in this. The amount of touches he's had the last few years.
Next year we'll have to do points per game.
Yeah.
I
saw on Twitter someone tweeted, like the top 10 redraft from last year picks, and they were all bad, I think. I think besides Kamara, everyone else was underperformed from the top 10.
Yeah, there were 7 or 8 I remember too. Yeah, I agree with
Yeah.
you, but like not fully injury as well.
Yeah.
With a lot at top, but we had some more quarterback injuries last year. Thankfully, not as much this year. But yeah, we transitioned out of the new year. We transitioned officially to the off season for us. We're gonna be here the whole off season. Still kind of working out the kinks of the frequency of episodes, but we're not going away, and hopefully none of you do either. Make sure to tell any other people that are in the fantasy community about us. Share the wealth. But we're just excited you're here, and thanks for being along with the ride. So with New Year being the theme, when do you stop saying Happy New Year's? When is that comfortable date where you're like, it doesn't need to be said anymore? Is it today?
Tomorrow, yesterday at midnight, or today at midnight, whatever.
Well, it's such a weird window because most people aren't working, and
Yeah.
you're obviously going to go back to work, but this being a whole weekend, so you're going to go back on January 4th. Those 9 to 5ers or who have you. Are you? Is it too late on January 4th?
Yeah.
Never thought about it before, but I'd say I guess a couple days it kind of starts to die down. Everyone is over it.
Yeah.
Everyone's just ready to.
Come April, I'm gonna be like, Happy New Year's, guys.
Eh.
Hey, it's always a new year till it's an old year. Which
Exactly.
won't be till next year, right?
Exactly.
Well, I was just wondering. I agree. I think especially this year, like today is the last time I'll probably say it. I'm sure people will say it to me on Monday at work. So
Honestly,
I'll just
like,
go give them a good old you too.
It's like an overrated holiday to me. I never really cared for it. Just another day in my book.
I had a lot of fun. When we were kids.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, me too. When we were 15 years old, hiding in your parents' basement and sneaking beer and vodka. yeah, we all did. Yeah.
Oh man, just blowing under the bus there. Wow.
Yeah, sorry, Ralph.
No, yeah,
sorry,
no,
Ralph.
it's all right. But yeah, no, those were good times. But now that you and I, we're parents, and obviously the kids aren't fully at an age where they kind of understand what's going on. But for me, I'm like, damn, I haven't made it up till 12 in a couple of years. We did last night, but definitely was the first time in a few years. My wife and
I make it past 12 at least a couple times a week.
Yeah, well, you guys know me. I can't pot after like 9:30 most nights.
Dude needs 12 hours of sleep.
You need beauty sleep.
And a nap.
Underrated. Come
And a nap, yeah. So he sleeps for 16 hours a day,
That's
16
what
hours
life
each
is
day, and 8 hours up.
for. I just realized I have my mic still in front of me. My mic's unfortunately went to the pooper. It looks like, or something. We gotta call IT on that one to get them to fix it.
We have IT.
Let's talk about week 16 here. We have another record. Alvin Kamara looked like he brought a bunch of joy to fantasy championships on Christmas Day for New Orleans with his 6 touchdowns. I think they're all rushing. Yeah, 6 rushing touchdowns, which was an NFL record. But obviously, we had to play Saturday, we had to play Sunday, and of course Monday. Did you think that Sean Payton didn't want Kamara to get that 6th touchdown because your boy Taysom Hill wound up getting the carry on like the 2-yard line for that 6th one? Would have been the 6th one.
The 7th, right? You're talking about the 7th.
No, it would have been it would have been his 6th touchdown. Though he scored 6, but he wound up getting it afterwards. I don't think Sean Payton expected them to have another opportunity because I think it was like with 5 or 6 minutes in the game. So I almost think he was like, all right, you have another chance now. I kind of have to give it to him, but I really didn't want him to break the record, and Taysom Hill is just stepping in to say a big ol'
Why
F you.
wouldn't you want him to break the record, though?
I was watching the game, and I didn't understand. Like, they were actually getting boos from the crowd. The crowd booed them when Taysom Hill scored the touchdown.
The 2,000 people that were in the stands?
Yeah, however many, but it made absolutely no sense to me. I was very glad they had another one, and I believe he had the dropped catch that would have given him 8. But the rushing wise, at least, I didn't like that Peyton did that.
I don't
know.
You know what I don't like is the NFL fined him Alvin Kamara $5,000 for having like a different color cleat or something on. So I tweeted, I said, I hope Kamara gets his money back after they ask him if they could put his cleats in Canton, Ohio. So But
yeah, I did like that tweet. That was kind of funny, and they got to follow the rules, or
so
they're
dumb.
not
I
upholding
almost
things.
in our 2 keeper league where I was the number 1 seed in that league, and our buddy Eric Kalinsky, he was number 2. He had Kamara, and Miles Gaskin almost helped me come back and win that game because he had such a big game against Oakland. And if I would have started the tight end for Atlanta over Green Bay's tight end Tunyon, I would have won. I would have came back and beat him with him having Kamara. But we ended up splitting the pot. We ended up splitting the pot before the Kamara game started. So I guess it didn't hurt as bad.
Yeah, I went up against. I went up against. Yeah, you're good.
Sorry, I wanted to go over. I did want to just mention real quick because you're going to talk about that, which I'm sure will bring up some players. But Alvin Kamara, obviously, like we keep talking about, had that amazing week. But as I mentioned, you thought you had the win on Christmas Day, but we had a lot of other good performances and players that stepped up. So, Eric, talk about a little more of who you maybe had on your side.
Yeah, so I went up against Kamara in our Dynasty League, and luckily I had Stephon Diggs.
Is that the league you won?
I also had Mike Evans. So
is that the league you won?
Yeah. I won the 3 leagues I won. I only had Mike Evans and Diggs in one of them.
Who'd you beat?
The other one I had Josh Allen. Snyder. Dan Snyder.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Was Dan talking crap to you after the Kamara 6 touchdown performance?
No, we were just laughing because he was surprised because he wasn't even watching the game. He was doing something else. It was Christmas, and he was like, "Wow, yeah."
Because I would have been talking crap. I would have thought I won the league.
He told me after Mike Evans played, he was like, "Man, I really thought I had this one in the bag." He's like, "You got a chance now." And then obviously I had Diggs on Monday, and put me over the top by like 20 points. I needed 24 points from Diggs, and I got 44.
Exactly what we're talking about. Kamara had the 5 touchdowns, but then Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers stepped up. Adams had almost 150 yards and 3 touchdowns. Mike Evans, like you mentioned, 180 yards on 10 catches with 2 touchdowns because, Tom Brady had to goat it up for all the haters and put up almost 350 yards and 4 touchdowns in the first half.
Did they play a non-playoff team again?
Hey, they did play Atlanta.
Yeah.
They did play Atlanta.
No, they didn't. No, they didn't. Mahomes played Atlanta.
I'm sorry, they're playing. No, I'm sorry, they're playing Atlanta. Yeah, they did play the Bengals.
Yeah.
Bengals.
I think they're 1-7 against playoff teams or something, or they have 1 win against playoff teams. Yeah,
1-5.
Yeah, and the rest are all their wins are against non-playoff teams.
Yeah, Mike. It's going to be interesting what they do in the playoffs, but I think they're getting hot at the right time. Michael Gallup showed up out of nowhere with Andy Dalton, 120 yards and 2 touchdowns. That probably upset some people. But like you said, Myles Gaskin, 100 and nearly 70 total yards and 2 touchdowns. I believe a lot of that was in the second half too, because Salvon Ahmed had started but wasn't doing too well.
The one catch was like a 60-yard touchdown with with 3 minutes to go or whatever.
Garbage time. Or not garbage time because there was a crazy ending with that.
Yeah. Man, I'm hoping that Dolphins don't draft a running back. He's going to be my steal in Dynasty, man.
Yeah, well, maybe he'll show up on our top 12 later. Maybe not. You got to stay tuned. But that was a crazy ending with that Miami. They pulled Tua again, guys. And Eric, you and I were kind of watching the game together, and I said, if they pull Tua right now, they cannot put him back in, especially if Fitz actually makes this work. And
now they have to put him in.
And then Fitz made it work, and it's like, wow, now who are you going to start? And I said, you had to stick with Fitz. You're hurting the confidence of Tua. You clearly think Fitz is the one that's going to help you win, and that's the decision they made. But Fitz has COVID, so.
Well, no, he said after the game that they were going back to Tua.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I said the decision they should have made. But yes, Tua was starting. Tua now will officially keep starting because Fitz has COVID.
Is Tua
can't
good
play against Buffalo? I like Tua.
He's like the only rookie.
You don't throw the ball down the field.
Well, that's on him though. That's why he got pulled because is he scared to throw it down the field?
I think it could be part of it. I mean, it could be part of it for sure. His ADOT average depth of target or intended air yards has not really been as high as we'd hoped. I think it's like under 5.
He's like the only rookie quarterback in recent memory, like that was drafted in the first round. I mean, I guess not in recent memory, but I mean, look at Herbert, how well he's played, and I'm trying to think who was drafted last year in the first round. It doesn't matter. He's underperformed.
No, he certainly has. What was that? That was Daniel Jones' year.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Never mind. I take it back. I guess Herbert kind of is the only one that's really pulling up on.
3 years ago. Yeah, it's all right. I'm blank on that part too because I'm trying to just go over. I think that was, and then the Diggs Allen connection. Yeah. Stephon Diggs had almost 150 yards and 3 touchdowns. Josh Allen had another 4, I believe, total. They just stomped the Patriots. And we're going to talk about the playoffs, as I said, because the Bills are fighting for the 2. Kansas City locked up the 1. 5 teams can make 4 spots in the AFC. The NFC, they don't have a number 1 seed just yet. So that's going to be interesting to dive through. But I don't know. I think what we want to talk about is the Ravens being hot. The Jets win against the Browns. Big Ben having a comeback that saves them so far, or would have the tried comeback. And then, like I said, Rodgers killing it as Green Bay's still hot. So let's just run through a few of these quick before we maybe talk some DFS. So Dalton's redemption here, where he kind of showed up, did more than show up with his 377 and 3 touchdowns. The Cowboys still have a chance at the playoffs. And you saw, like I said, Michael Gallup do really well with 120 yards and 2 touchdowns. Who is their wide receiver 1 next year? If they re-sign Amari, Keenan, you and I were just talking before this that he's the number 20 wide receiver.
They're not going to re-sign Amari.
You don't think so, huh?
No, not with the way Gallup's been playing. They need to upgrade their defense there. They need to re-sign Dak. They still got to pay Zeke, unless they trade him and get out of that contract somehow. But for the next couple of years, at least, they got to pay Zeke. With the way CD and Gallup are playing, I just don't see a need for them to pay Amari Cooper an extension. I mean, they need to fill other.
Amari Cooper's assigned till 2024.
He is, but they can get out of his contract after next season.
In 2021. In 2021, he can get out. I think I do agree with Eric. I think they will have to get out of that contract. I mean,
they'll be under contract next year for sure.
Yeah, next year. Yeah, but I'm saying after that year, they're going to have to get out. That's $22 million in cap space that they'll have available after they get out. Especially if Lamb and Gallup keep improving the way they are, and you're paying Lamb for another year or 2 after next year on a rookie contract, I think you have to get out of it. It has nothing to do with how well Amari plays. It's just a cap issue. And will the cap go down? Will the cap stay the same after this season and next year?
That's what I'm wondering.
They'll also have to pay Gallup after 2021 as well. Right. So, Antonio, do you think they keep Amari instead of Gallup? Is that what you're suggesting?
Well, I guess the reason I proposed the question initially is like, who's their number 1 next year? Because if they transition their number 1 over to CeeDee Lamb, then who does their number 2 become?
Amari Cooper's number 1 there as long as he's a Dallas Cowboy.
Well, and we all agreed that's going to be 1 more year. So you're saying next, so they're going to have CeeDee Lamb wait another year to potentially get.
It doesn't really matter. I mean, look at Ridley and Julio.
Yeah, I mean they were without Dak.
I don't think that matters. I think
and Dak and Amari. Well, Dak and Amari were killing it. CD was getting the touchdowns in the beginning of the year, but Dak and Amari were still giving a lot of the targets.
They're literally both this year. Amari's the 15th wide receiver overall so far, and CD's the 16th. So I mean, with this last game, I mean, for the fantasy season, obviously Amari was ahead of him, but it was only a 10-point difference fantasy wise. And when Dak was in, CD was the number 1. And I think next year, for sure CD's going to be the number 1.
I thought Mario targeted him. Do you not?
I mean, for fantasy, I believe CD was ahead of him.
because he was getting the touchdowns, right?
Yeah,
Right.
but yeah, more so fantasy. So, so for fantasy wise, I think CD next year is going to be putting up the wide receiver 1 numbers.
Listen, I don't. As long as the quarterback and the OC can make it work, they could have 2 number ones next year.
Yeah,
That's the way I see it. I don't think. If Amari's there, I don't think he's going to take away from Lamb, and I don't think Lamb's going to take from Amari.
Yeah, Dak was throwing the ball a hell of a lot of times.
I mean, they were throwing 50 times a game because that defense was so bad.
Nothing that I expected, and Zeke's obviously taking a big hit because of that. So that's going to be interesting to see how this offseason goes. And like I said, we're going to talk to him again.
Now that you mentioned Zeke, I didn't even think about putting him in my top 12. Spoiler alert. His name didn't even cross my mind. But go on.
Yeah, well, it's scary. I mean, he was getting catches with Dak, but again, if you're throwing the ball 50 times a game, you're probably going to see 5 or 6 targets as the running back.
Yeah.
It's just are they going to come in next year and that's what they're going to decide to continue to do because they weren't winning games. They were not winning games. So, I mean, obviously their defense was injured in the beginning. COVID is hopefully less.
Side note, Eric, if you're trying to get tickets at 3:30, the AFC wildcard tickets are sold out. Officially sold out.
The Bills make a statement?
Someone is on the site right now trying to buy tickets, and on their website, 2020 AFC wildcard tickets are sold out. Thank you, season ticket members.
I'm still going to try at 3.
Keep going. Yeah, keep it trying. The Pittsburgh Steelers, as we're talking about the Bills right now, they have things to play for. Maybe we'll just start, let's just head right into the playoffs because I'm sure we're going to, keep talking about the teams. So the Bills have things to play for. They obviously want to fight for that 2nd seed. They'd like that home field, especially if Kansas City were to, potentially lose their first game. What is going on with Pittsburgh? They had a comeback against Indianapolis. Big Ben was able to rally, and they were able to score 3 touchdowns on their last 4 drives. But if the Bills win and Pittsburgh loses here against the Browns, maybe Keenan's looking a little bit more better than I am right now than this, but so there's 5 AFC teams that still are fighting for the playoffs. It's, I believe, Tennessee, Houston,
Baltimore, Cleveland, Miami, and Indy. All 10-5 right now. Indy's the team looking outside looking in. So they need
the most help.
I think the other 3 teams control their destiny, but if one of those teams lose and Indy wins, are in. And I could see, honestly, Cleveland losing to a Pittsburgh Steelers, 2nd string offense, quarterback or whatever. They just lost to the Jets. I mean, they didn't have all their wide receivers, but I don't know. I could see Miami losing to the Bills and Indy getting in. Who's Baltimore playing? Jacksonville? No, they're not playing. Indy's playing Jacksonville. Baltimore is playing
against the Bengals.
Yeah, they're going to win that game most likely. So, I think Miami will end up losing to the Bills. I can see that happening, and Miami being the outside team looking in.
That is how I see it right now as today. But tomorrow I could go back to thinking that Cleveland's going to lose. Cleveland's not going to make it. But the reassurance, at least, or what I want as a Bills fan is I don't want us to sit anybody. I know there was talks about that. I just want to make sure we have a comfortable lead if we're going to do it because I want the win because I don't want to have to travel to Pittsburgh. There's just no reason to have to travel at all if you don't need to, of course. But also, Baltimore cannot get the 7th seed, and they are just the hottest team in the league right now. I don't want to play Baltimore. As confident as I am that we can beat Baltimore, they're on a 4-game win streak. Their last loss was a 5-point loss to the Steelers, which was also close as we remember. But they haven't lost by more than a touchdown. Now that I'm looking, all season actually, I haven't realized that. Besides the Chiefs, they haven't lost by a touchdown all year. So they're killing it. Lamar Jackson's running the ball like crazy, and the Ravens cannot get a 7th seed. So what do you guys think about the Ravens right now? J.K. Dobbins is coming along. Marquise Brown keeps scoring touchdowns. Lamar Jackson looks like his last year self. Keenan, what's going on right now with the Ravens? Are they the hottest team in the AFC right now?
Let me look at their schedule.
They've played the Giants, the Jaguars,
Trash,
the Browns,
trash,
and the Cowboys.
trash.
Now, I agree with you. The competition hasn't been the best, but they're doing what they need to do to win, and they're doing what they did last season. They're bringing it, transitioning it over, and it seems like what they haven't been able to fully do now. So, if they can go on the road to play a team like Pittsburgh as the third seed, I think they could win.
I mean, out of all the teams that we're talking about, if like being a Bills fan, I think I'm more scared of Baltimore than any of those other teams, just because I give Lamar a lot of crap, but I think he is the most dominant. He's the best quarterback out of those four teams that possibly can play the Bills. Are they the hottest team? Whatever, they're playing some crap teams. I think you know who the hottest team in the league is right now. It's the Bills.
Buffalo Bills, yeah.
Yeah, and the Bills are playing good teams. Baltimore's playing Jacksonville, who was trying to lose. The Cowboys, who don't have, they suck. And who else do they play? Cleveland's okay, I guess. So, no, they're not the hottest team. They've just played average teams.
They played average teams, but like we said, they're doing it in fashion. Eric, I'll give you a shot.
Yeah, I'm gonna hop in. So I do agree the Buffalo Bills are definitely the hottest team in the NFL right now in the AFC, clearly. But they have had an easy schedule, but they've still, like, some of the teams, like, they've blown out teams, and they've beaten some good teams, like the Browns. They beat 38-6. The Texans we thought were a decent team at first. They blew them out 33-16. The Bengals, they blew them out 27-3. But they're still, the Colts, they're a good play. They're a playoff contender right now. They beat them 24-10. Like they're a good team, and they're going to be a force in the playoffs. And I'll be honest, I don't want to play them in the playoffs as a Bills fan. I don't, I obviously think our Bills would beat them. Believe in the Bills, but yeah, they're just a team I would rather not face, at least round one.
So, is Lamar Jackson looking like a complete different Lamar Jackson to you than the first 10 games, the first 8 games, 9 games? Like, do you think he's back right now to his form of last season, or do you think it's like you said, a proponent of who they're playing?
That's who they're playing, in my opinion. I'm not saying that he's playing any. Besides that Cleveland game where he actually threw the ball down the field, that's like the only game this season where he actually looked like a legit quarterback, in my opinion.
Yeah.
All
right.
Yeah.
It's
all right.
he relies on it. He relies on his feet way too much, in my opinion. That's my thing with him.
Lamar.
Well, you're not going to win that way in the playoffs. So.
Maybe.
No, he's good.
All right, so let's.
He's doing his thing.
You know what I'm looking forward to? I'm looking forward to for Lamar Jackson choking again in the playoffs and getting blown out. That's what I'm looking forward to.
By the Bills.
Doesn't matter. I keep telling you, it doesn't matter who the Bills play first week of the playoffs. They're gonna beat them, whoever it is. It could be.
I do truly believe we're gonna win. I'd just rather not face them. I guess there's other. I'd rather face like the Browns or something.
And people outside of Buffalo can make fun of that statement, but this team is focused. I've never seen a football team in Buffalo at least this focused, and I think they will be an AFC Championship game with Kansas City.
Yeah, I think a lot of people believe that right now. Not even have to be a Bills fan to say that. We were talking about hot teams right now. Is Aaron Rodgers the hottest player in the NFL right now, which would potentially make Green Bay the hottest team in the league? He's got a league-leading, 42 touchdowns right now?
I do
Having
think
the best year of his career. Devontae Adams has 17.
I do think he is the current MVP. As sad as I say that, I do want Josh Allen to win MVP, but I do think Rodgers right now is the MVP. But I wouldn't say he's the hottest player in the NFL. That I would give to Josh Allen just because he's the young guy who's finally stepped into and blossomed into this great quarterback. And so I think he is the hottest player in the NFL, and I would still think Rodgers is currently the MVP.
The MVP conversation has me so frustrated. Mahomes is going to win. Let me tell you that right now. Mahomes is going to win. He's the MVP. They are so far up Mahomes, you know what, that they're going to vote him in. Where in reality, he should be number 3. And it should be between Allen and Rodgers right now. And the reason I think the reason I think it should be Allen is 1, schedule. 2, Aaron Rodgers has a better run game, and he has better weapons around him. I know everyone wants, I saw someone on Twitter saying because the Bills are potentially going to sign Kenny Stills, how much help does Allen need? Really? I mean, is Allen getting the help, or is Allen helping Cole Beasley? Is Allen helping John Brown? Is Allen helping Dawson Knox? Dawson Knox in college did not have 1 touchdown reception. Cole Beasley was getting 2 or 3 receptions a game in Cleveland or in Dallas. And John Brown was probably one of the more unused wide receivers in Arizona. And in Baltimore, they ended up drafting Hollywood Brown after they signed him, and he was a wide receiver too there. So I think Josh Allen definitely doesn't have half the weapons that Aaron Rodgers has. I mean, Aaron Jones is having a great year. Who's better, Adams or Devontae Adams or Stephon Diggs?
Don't
who's
ask
better?
The question.
I mean,
of course, it's Devontae Adams.
Yeah, I mean, by a little bit, yeah.
But I mean, discussion.
After that, I think Rodgers has the better weapons, and I think Rodgers he's playing the easier schedule too. So, but it should be. I think Rodgers should win it. If the media had, or whoever votes had the balls, Allen would win it. But it's going to be Mahomes, in my opinion.
Yeah. So I'm just adding these up here because in the last 10 games, Rodgers has 3 or 4 touchdowns in 8 of them, total touchdowns. In the last 10 games for Allen, 2, 3, 4, 5. He has it in 6 out of the last 10. But obviously he has the rushing ability, so that does change things a little bit. But yeah, both teams, I believe, have only 1 loss in that span. It's going to come down to the wire. I think it's going to be the tightest MVP race we've seen in a long time. We know last year was Lamar, 2 years ago was Mahomes. Was it Gurley 3 years ago? So Gurley was not 3 years ago. I'm crazy. That would have been like 6 years ago.
If you look at Mahomes' schedule and Mahomes, or the results from the Kansas City games, Kansas City's winning 1-possession games, where the Bills are just smoking opponents. And yeah, a lot of that is not on Kansas City or on Mahomes' shoulder, or it shouldn't be all on Mahomes' shoulders. But come on. Also, I don't know if you guys saw that that ELO ratings. Did you guys see that on Twitter?
I don't think I did.
They have Josh Allen ahead of Mahomes and Rodgers. So they rank every single throw, every single snap. And Allen's at 284, Mahomes at 274, and Rodgers at 258.
Interesting. Very interesting. So I think what we'll do with that is maybe we'll shift over to the DFS lineup. So that's going to wrap up our conversation with the playoff picture because we're going to move more into that next week. But I just kind of want to talk a little bit about the NFC. Well, actually, let's just finish real quick with the NFC. Who's going to get that number 1 seed this week? Do you think it's going to be the Packers? Do you think it'll be the Saints or the Seahawks?
It should be the Packers. I mean, if Aaron Rodgers is MVP, it should be the Packers.
It'll be the Packers, yeah.
I mean, all they got to do is win, and they got
all they got to do is win, yeah.
Before we move on to DFS, let's talk about Washington real quick.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Yes, thank you for reminding me. Yeah, let's talk about the NFC East has the potential for 3 teams. Is that right, Keenan? 3? I know you're the expert right now with the playoff stuff. Is it Dallas? Does the Giants also have an opportunity? No, I think it's just Dallas and Washington, actually. So if Washington loses and Dallas wins, Washington will have the breaker.
Yeah, Philly's eliminated. So Washington needs to win pretty much to get in. But they play – who do they play? Let's see here.
Washington plays the Eagles.
Eagles, yeah.
It got moved to Sunday night.
Yeah. And look at Well, the Giants can get in. They need a lot of help.
Yeah, the Giants have some scenario.
Yeah, they can get in.
And it's interesting.
Yeah.
The crazy thing with the Washington is that they could go from being their division winner this week to, if they lose and everything else falls into play somehow for them, they could be the number 3 overall pick.
What would you rather have? If you're the coach and GM of Washington, what would you rather have right now? The playoff and get blown out by the Saints, or have the number 3 pick and possibly get a quarterback because you just cut your first-round draft pick from last year this past week because he can't stay out of the strip club and is immature. So what would you rather have as a franchise?
You're asking me as if I was in that position, I would want to lose, of course.
But yeah, absolutely.
At the same point, they haven't won the division in a little while. It's, I think, since Kirk Cousins days, and they have an opportunity to do something special or make that special with all of the adversity that's gone on this year with Washington, the name change, these scandals, bringing in Rivera, cutting Haskins. But at the same point, come on, Alex Smith will not be your quarterback of the future. Dwayne Haskins clearly wasn't. We all know that Kyle Allen is not a factor at all. You just got Chase Young. Take advantage of it. Keep building. You found yourself a running back. You know you have a great wide receiver with McLaurin. Yeah. Take advantage. Get him a quarterback.
Honestly, right now, Washington has the worst quarterback situation in that division. Yes, we talked a lot about what's going on in Philly with Wentz and Hurts, but I'd take those 2 quarterbacks over Alex Smith right now. Dallas has Dak, obviously, and who's the other team? Daniel Jones in New York. Right now, Washington has the worst quarterback situation, where if you get the 3rd overall pick, you're guaranteed to get the kid from Florida or the kid from BYU. You're not going to get Sunshine or I almost said Barrett Fields. Yeah, you're not going to get that, but you're still guaranteed to get a solid quarterback at that position. Or even if you don't want to go quarterback there, you can go and get another defensive tackle, and that's going to dominate and help that line, even though you have 2 good young defensive studs there.
Yeah, you're just hurting yourself winning. I mean, I think you could win maybe the first game. You have an opportunity. They've been really close. Their defense is good, but you're not going much farther. So take the tank and just get it done with. We're definitely going to talk more about that next week, though, when we find out what's going on. But Eric, get your.
I mentioned Washington. I think they might be one of the teams that might be in line to pick up a quarterback in free agency rather than draft someone. So I don't know if one of you just said that or not, but I do think that's a real possibility. With the way they played with Alex Smith, this team really is a quarterback away, and they could use that draft capital on other holes to fill. Maybe another wide receiver to go with McLaurin there, and because like you said, they have Gibson. So really with all the quarterbacks that are going to be available, I could see it. Maybe make it.
There's potential.
They traded for Alex Smith. Maybe they'll trade for Carson Wentz, or
they got the cap. Maybe Jameis. Maybe Rivera likes Jameis secretly. I mean, Cam Newton had a rocket and wasn't the most accurate. So we'll definitely talk a little more on that next week. We want to get to our DFS lineups and get to our top 12, so we can get you all back to your lovely New Year's Day. But first, make sure you're all following us on Twitter at Dynasty Mafia _FF. Make sure you're following myself at Antonio Denisi FF, Keenan at Keenan _716, and Eric at Eric D _FF. If you can't see, it's right under here, pointing at it. We all got those in our corners if you're on YouTube. And if you are on YouTube, please like, share, and subscribe. We just, love and appreciate getting the word out. So with the season being over, we obviously know now you shouldn't be playing in Week 17 championships. What do we have left right now? We have DFS lineups. We're going to go over those right now. I think we're going to have Keenan start us off. What did you think this week?
Week 17 is my favorite week, guys. I don't have to stress about winning or losing, and I don't have to listen to Alex Walter talking crap to me every week. But I think I got a pretty solid lineup here, guys, for this week. My quarterback is Herbert. He's playing the Chiefs. He had 26 points last time he played them in week 2, and the Chiefs are probably I mean, probably they don't care about this game, so they're probably going to be benching all their players. My 2 running backs, Miles Gaskin playing the Bills. Also, same situation. The Bills are probably benching their players. Jonathan Taylor, he's playing Jacksonville, who is ranked 30th against the run. And then I got Devontae Adams, Packers wide receiver. They have something to play for, and that connection between Rodgers and Adams is unbelievable. My 2 wide receivers, I have Tim Patrick at $4,000. The way the Vegas Raiders have played against the run is very pathetic, or against the pass is very pathetic. I mean, Aguilar just destroyed him last week, and Weller just destroyed him. Sorry. And then my second one is Kelvin Cole Sr. here, and let me look at his stats here. Sorry, I just deleted him off my thing. Oh, okay, that's what I want to mention. 3 weeks ago, he had 12 targets, and I think he can get if he's getting those targets, I think he can have a really good game for $4,000. You can't really beat that price.
Yeah,
and my tight end is Irv Smith Jr., who's got 3 touchdowns in the last 3 games, and he also scored 2 touchdowns against Detroit last time they played. But he only had 2 receptions that game, so Detroit's really good against tight ends, but I think he's a big red zone threat there. My flex is Jeff Wilson Jr. for the 49ers. He's been dominating, having really good games lately. And my defense is the Browns, who are playing Rudolph's Pittsburgh Steelers.
All right.
That's $1 million lineup right there. That's $1 million lineup right there.
That's probably like whatever second place is, because I think I've got the first place this week. Let me go over mine here. So the quarterbacks I kind of struggle with a little bit, because you really want to get you want to figure out who's going to be your potential for the top spot of the week. I think there are a few quarterbacks that can do it: Lamar Jackson, Deshaun Watson, but you can't. Rodgers, of course. But you can't trust a lot of them, because, Mahomes might sit, Josh Allen might sit. If Rodgers gets up, maybe they're going to sit. It's just kind of tough to pick somebody. So what did I go with? I went down to $7,000. I went with Ryan Tannehill at Houston. Originally, I thought, Derrick Henry might be able to run all over them. And as much as Houston has nothing to play for, they're going to still want to stop Tennessee from having a higher seed. So I think that they're going to come out to play. It's going to be a good game. Last game they played was a shootout. So Tannehill's my quarterback. I didn't piggyback him with anybody in that game, though. With my running backs, I went with Melvin Gordon and Malcolm Brown, because Malcolm Brown's the only guy there. I know he's questionable, but Cam Akers being out, Henderson went to IR. He's only $4,300. Melvin Gordon, we know Philip Lindsay's been having some injury issues. He gets to play Vegas, who just got torched last week. So it's going to be nice to see Melvin Gordon hopefully do some good things. Also, the reason that I went low with my running backs is because this week I got Devontae Adams, Calvin Ridley, and Chris Godwin as my 3 wide receivers. And then my 4th is Josh Reynolds, taking advantage of Cooper Kupp being out with COVID. He's only $3,200. So
are you worried about the quarterback situation there?
I'm not. I trust Wolford. I do. I liked him in the AAF. I think he can just at least make the short, competent throws that he needs to probably make, especially if they do that with Reynolds. They might put him on the outside, but targets are targets, and $3,200 I liked. And
yeah, I'm thinking about him.
Yeah, Dalton Keene, the tight end for New England. This one's really just kind of a crapshoot in there, mostly because the Jets are the worst team against the tight ends. I think they've let up a touchdown like 12 straight games now. So you're really rolling the dice, whether it's Asiasi or Keene or whoever the hell else that New England may have. But I threw him in my tight end lineup. So Tannehill, Melvin Gordon, Malcolm Brown, Devontae Adams, Calvin Ridley, Chris Godwin, Dalton Keene, Josh Reynolds. And then I have the Seahawks wrapping up my defense. They're playing against San Francisco, who we know has been banged up. And their defense has come together lately. $1 million lineup.
Yeah.
No. Eric has $1 million lineup. There's gonna be, you could potentially have about $3 million winners here if people take advantage of this.
So we can all split it each. We'll go 3 ways. Take advantage.
Yeah, definitely $1 million here. So yeah, for my quarterback position, I wanted to go cheap, so I'm going to roll out Mitch Trubisky again. He's been playing pretty good past couple of games, and they're going up against Green Bay, and they have something to fight for here. They need a win to get in. I'm not sure what else they need exactly. I think did they need someone to lose, or just they win and they're in?
If they win, Mitch Trubisky is in the playoffs, baby.
For the what, like second or third time in his career?
Trubisky?
Yeah, he's actually really good he's 27 and I think it was 12 as a starter.
I don't think he's ever made the playoffs though.
He has.
Has he?
Yeah.
Was it the missed field goal there at the end? Was it Parkey or whatever who missed the field goal for them to win their first playoff game in like 20 years?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm going with him. I think they're going to need to throw to keep up with Green Bay, and yeah, I think he's going to have a good week. And then I really like my running back combo here. I'm going with Jonathan Taylor at 7,400. Obvious reasons. Indy needs to win, and I think they're going to steamroll the Jags. So I'm looking for him to have a big game. And then I'm going with Ezekiel Elliott. I like what I saw last week out of that offense. I think they're finally going to turn things around.
You've been trash talking them for weeks. Just so you know, you've been trash talking them for weeks.
Hey, he struggled for a while. But this is DFS. It's week 17. They're fighting for that division. That offense got going last week finally. And, yeah, I'm rolling them out for 6,400. I think that's a steal. And then my wide receivers are a bit shaky, except for my top guy here, which is DK Metcalf. We were talking about him. He had a little bit of down week the past 2 weeks, but I think he turns it around, has a big week. They're fighting to get that first overall spot. I'm not sure if they would have the tiebreaker over Green Bay. I don't know if any of you know that, but either way, they're fighting to stay in that.
Number one, no matter what, if they win.
No, yeah. But either way, they're fighting for that second spot at least. So I think they're going to have to get him going, get that passing game going, especially getting into the playoffs. They just need to do something to get Russ cooking again. And then I'm going with Emmanuel Sanders at 5,500. Oh, and DK was 7,300. I don't know if I mentioned that, but Manny Sanders at 5,500. Michael Thomas and Traquan Smith are both on the IR, so there's not much else to throw to there. They're also battling for the 2 seed with Seattle, I believe. So I think they're going to be putting the pressure on Carolina to win that game. And then I'm going with Rashard Higgins. He's back off the COVID list at 4,500. Same with Cleveland. They're fighting with the Colts there and a few other teams for that playoff spot. So I think they're going to have to, also put some pressure on Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's been struggling, so I think he can have a decent game. He's also had a pretty good game in the past few weeks before he had COVID as well. And then for my flex spot, I'm going Darius Slayton. This is my biggest wild card, but he has been getting 7, 8, 9 targets a week still somehow. And like I said, they're battling for the division, and I think they're going to have to throw a few deep balls if they want to plan on winning this game. So I think he could potentially have a big week. And then for my tight end position, I got Mark Andrews in there. Baltimore, another team that is looking for a win, and I just think they need to get him going before playoffs, and he needs to have a big game and build that confidence and build that passing attack. So yeah, and then for my defense, I'm going with the Cardinals. Half of the Rams roster is out this week, so I'm rolling with them. They were 2,800. Oh, and Darius Slayton was 4,100, and Mark Andrews was 5,800.
All right, I can mess with that. Except it's third place lineup. That's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, third place isn't bad.
I'll take that.
All right, that's gonna catch up for the DFS. Good luck to everybody this weekend. Now, let's jump ahead. We're in 2021 right now. We are going to talk Dynasty. I've been waiting all season to talk a lot of Dynasty. Very excited to dive into what this offseason is going to bring. But right now, it's going to be our way too early top 12 PPR rankings. I think what we're going to have is Eric, maybe, if you want to start talking again, I want maybe have you start off because your list is a little bit, I think it sways a little more than Keenan and mine.
This was startup, right? Like a startup draft, dynasty draft.
Yeah, startup. So startup today. If you were drafting today, where would your top 12 in a PPR look like? A single quarterback. So I think we're just gonna run through that and maybe just discuss a little bit. I'm not gonna go too in depth because we have a lot of off season to go.
Yeah. I'll just name them all real quick. So in order here, from 1st to 12th, I got Christian McCaffrey, of course, Elvin Kamara. Now, unpopular opinion, Jonathan Taylor, my man. We talked about him a few weeks ago. Then Tyreek Hill, Delvin Cook, Saquon Barkley, Devontae Adams, Nick Chubb. Ooh, I'm going to switch mine, actually. I'm going DK Metcalf, then Nick Chubb, then Ezekiel Elliott, J.K. Dobbins, and Stephon Diggs.
Wow, audibling on the fly, huh?
Yeah, well, I was just looking at it. As crazy as it might sound, I almost want to, because I love J.K. Dobbins, and I almost want to put him over Zeke too, but I just can't right now. I'm a little upset about J.K. Dobbins because when we were first doing our dynasty rankings for rookies last offseason, he was my number one. And then I let the NFL draft get to me, and I bumped him down, and I'm really wishing I didn't because I think he's going to have a huge year next year.
You would think.
I was the same thing with Swift.
Yeah. My only, I see that you have Taylor a couple spots higher than me and Antonio. My only concern is with him really is obviously Rivers isn't going to be there with the quarterback situation.
I don't know about obviously.
Well, okay, maybe. Okay, he's not going to be there 2-3 years from now.
Well, it's a big deal.
Sure.
Yeah, okay, I can give you that.
See, that's not a huge deal to me because I think they can bring someone in that's going to replace what Rivers is able to do.
I know he's had a couple great weeks, the last 4 or 5 weeks of the season, but it also doesn't take away from the earlier struggles that he's had and him not being able to break any tackles or have any runs after contact. That scares me a little bit about him, and that's why I don't want to put him over running backs such as a Barkley or a Delvin Cook.
Yeah, I guess for me, it's I kind of like I am more all right with the struggles the running backs had in the beginning of the season because the off season was just out of whack, and even with the struggles and the limited amount of carries he had in the beginning of the season, he still finished as the running back 7 on the year.
He had a great year, but I'm just not ready to bump him above a Barkley or who do you have him ahead that I don't?
Delvin Cook, Saquon.
Delvin Cook, yeah.
Chubb, maybe.
Yeah. No, he's on my list. He is ahead of Chubb, but
yeah, I just think if they finally, which I do think they're going to do, is finally give him that full workload for an entire season.
Yeah,
I don't see how he's not a top 3 running back.
Yeah, but I do agree with you on Dobbins. I think we all thought they would give him the ball a little bit more this year, and if they did, I think he's higher up on all our lists.
Yeah, I don't think Dobbins. I don't think Dobbins is going to be going that high, but that's just where I guess I have him. I think the public, the majority of people aren't, his ADP I guess is going to be lower than what we might have him.
I'm shocked you have Elliott so high. Not gonna lie.
I still think he's fine. I think it was more not having Dak and just the struggles that offense went through, and I think they turn it around next year and he's back to form.
Definitely a buy low guy there this year in fantasy.
You're bringing up a lot of players and how your lineup looks, Keenan. Why don't you talk about yours real quick, and then we'll just keep hashing
Yeah.
back at Eric.
Yeah, I mean, I got McCaffrey. I think he comes back and has a great year next year. Dalvin Cook is very impressive. He stays healthy. Devontae Adams and Rodgers connection crazy. Kamara, then Barkley. I think he comes back, from his injury, just like McCaffrey, and plays well. Then I have a couple wide receivers: Hill, AJ Brown, and DK. I think all three are, the future of that league, if not already the present. Then Jonathan Taylor at 9. Stephon Diggs having a crazy year. And then to round off my top 12, I have Henry and Chubb. I think I mentioned to you, Eric, after you and I made that trade in where you gave me Mixon and Chubb and I gave you McCaffrey. I think Chubb is going to be a top 5 running back next year, just because of his workload and that type of offense that they're running there in Cleveland.
Even with Kareem Hunt, though, signing an extension.
What? Yeah,
I'm not worried about that at all. I actually agree with you.
Did he sign an extension? I mean, he signed an extension before the last 5 weeks.
I mean, what he was able to do, even with missing the games that he missed.
Yeah,
I don't. With the full 16 games, I mean, I haven't actually paced it out or anything like that, but I believe he would have been on pace to be a top 5 this year as well.
Yeah, I love Nick Chubb. I think he's the best pure runner in the NFL. I think he's better than Derrick Henry at running that football. You got to trust Baker to not have that box stacked, which he's been able to do the last 5 weeks because he's been able to show up. He's been taking advantage of it, and Chubb still gets the rushing yards. But I don't know, Kareem.
I'm trusting that offense. That offense produces a top running back.
This is what I see happening in Cleveland. I see them moving on from Odell, and I see Hunt becoming more of a wide receiver / running back, where he's lining up to the outside and Chubb's in the backfield. Because if you look at their cap for next year, they're $6 million over the limit right now. And is the cap going to go down or up or down? I see it going down before I see it going up next year. We're saying the same. So I think they're going to move on from Odell because I think they save a. I forget what it was. I think Eric and you and I were talking about it, and I think yes, Hunt's going to be a factor in that offense, but I think it's going to be more of a receiving than rushing.
Yeah, well, Chubb made both your top 12. He didn't make mine. He's right on the cusp.
Well, we know who's wrong.
We'll see. I mean, I know I do have to, like I said, we're way too early right now, but I currently don't have him as he might be my 10th running back. So I'm a little concerned. The offseason will bring some light to that. But like you said, we all have CMC as our top. He's my first. He did lead the league in points per game still in the very limited work. He's great. He's what it is. Dalvin Cook's my number 2, like you, Keenan. That extension helps. I'm not too worried about what's going on with any potential injuries. That team's always run first as long as Mike Zimmer's there. Devontae Adams, my top wide receiver. Just the touchdowns. He's going to get double-digit every single year. Rodgers is still there for a couple more years. And I like to play in a 2 to 3 year mindset. I think we all kind of have that same outlook. So that's my number 1 right now is Devontae Adams. Saquon Barkley's my 4th. He's my 3rd running back overall. You just got to look at what he does, guys. I mean, he had over 90 catches his first year, over 1,500 yards. He's had double-digit touchdowns, or at least on pace last year in his 13 games, but he had it in his first season. He's just shown to be able to do it with a crappy line, with a crappy team, with a crappy quarterback, and if anything goes but nothing but improvement, it's going to get better. Now, I'm the lowest on Kamara between the 3 of us, because in between Kamara and Barkley, I have Calvin Ridley as my number 2 wide receiver. He's 26 years old. He's shown that he is now the number 1. Matt Ryan's only 35. I don't think they're going to move on from him. They're going to keep him. If not, though, they're obviously thinking somebody better than him is going to come in, and they're going to throw the ball to Calvin Ridley. It is what it is. I love the guy. And then I have Jonathan Taylor as my 5th running back overall. So I love the work. I love the production. I'm not worried about the issues that, we saw issues in college. We're seeing the same issues transition in the NFL, but he's still producing. He's very effective, over almost 5 yards a carry. I love it. Alvin Kamara is extremely efficient, but we saw what the floor can be if next season Drew Brees is gone. If he's gone, Taysom Hill's the guy, and that I freaking hate. I hate that to death. I don't even like him being my 6th running back with Taysom Hill. Yeah. But you're stupid. I feel stupid not doing that because he gets so many catches.
I had Kamara at 3 this morning, and then I bumped him down a couple spots.
And he's turning 26.
JT over Kamara.
That's what I did. JT is, like I said, he's over Kamara for me. He doesn't get the carries either. So if Latavius Murray leaves, they're not just going to automatically give it the ball to him the whole time because we thought that was going to happen when they got rid of the man I'm blanking on right now. So, anyways, it's just nothing. I love Kamara. He's very efficient. Yeah, Mark Ingram. Thank you. So we thought that was going to happen. They brought in Murray, and Murray's still doing it. My number 8 overall. My number 3 wide receiver, Justin Jefferson. Going to be 22 years old. He's my number 1 wide receiver coming out. I saw enough to tell me to bring that confidence there that he is a top 5 wide receiver, the potential to be a number 1 overall in this league. Almost double-digit touchdowns, over 1,000 yards. They're in a run-first offense. I just said that with Dalvin Cook, and he was able to do what he can do. I don't think that if Adam Thielen's gone, that Justin Jefferson cannot produce. The guy's good. Let's just admit it. Better than number 9, DK Metcalf. I love DK Metcalf, but we've also seen the polar opposites, the yin and the yang, the flip and the flop from him, as well as Tyler Lockett. He's going to get double-digit touchdowns, but you can't trust him to get you 100 yards every single game. You hope he can, but he has to break that long one. He'll get better, but I love Justin Jefferson right now, especially with the route running. That's what separates it for me. Tyreek Hill is my number 10. He's about to be 27 years old. That's the only reason I have him just a few notches beneath Justin Jefferson and Metcalf. But again, has the best quarterback in the world, always capable for double-digit touchdowns, but so can Metcalf and Jefferson, and so can Calvin Ridley. So everybody here has that potential now. So it doesn't really separate them. What does is the targets, and Tyreek Hill will not get the most, at least in my mind, out of these 5 besides, I'm sorry. Hill will get more than Metcalf and Jefferson, but I believe that they're going to be able to produce a little better.
Let me ask you a question. What if Travis Kelce retires in the next 2 years? Does that change your mind
about Hill's going to be 29? Hill would definitely jump up to be my number 3 or 4 again. Because as long as he's tied to Mahomes, he's going to be great. He's probably got 5 great years of production left. But if Metcalf and Jefferson can create...
So I was about to ask you. Too, I mean, I noticed I'm the only one that has Tyreek Hill as my number 1 wide receiver for Dynasty. After what he did this year, you're telling me you wouldn't want 4 to 5 years out of Tyreek Hill over some of those other guys?
I'm going to ask you this. I could ask you the same thing about
same DK question, Metcalf about it, or Adams.
Or Adams. Yeah,
I'm asking you because I have him as my number 1, Tyreek.
Oh, I know, but if you're telling me Tyreek's done, like, what did he do that is so much more amazing than he's done in the last couple of years? You know what I mean? Nothing. Devontae Adams, same thing. Nothing except for
he's had
a great year. But he didn't have 100.
He's not saying that he had a bad year. He's just saying that you could ask that same question that you just asked Antonio for the other 5 receivers that we have listed. I mean, that we have listed as well.
But
I mean, Jefferson was a rookie. He came out and had 6 or 7. I think he's tied for the league in 100-yard games.
Yeah, but there's no guarantee that he's going to have 5-6 years with Kirk Cousins.
I don't want him to have 5 or 6 years with Kirk Cousins. I hope
exactly. Then he's going to have a rookie or maybe somebody else. But we're talking about Patrick Mahomes. Tyreek Hill's going to have another 4 to 5 elite years with Patrick Mahomes. To me,
he's going to. But like you just said, Travis Kelce is there. Mahomes spreads the ball around. You need Mahomes to get 40-plus touchdowns every year if you think Tyreek Hill is going to be able to get you double-digit. And while Mahomes is a person that can do that every single year, then you got to hope he's getting the targets to back it up. And he is. But I love Justin Jefferson right now. They're 4 to 5 years younger. DK Metcalf is able to do exactly what Tyreek Hill can do. It's not we're splitting hairs, but let me just tell you this. Tyreek Hill's about to have his career high in targets. So can I trust that next year he's just going to keep setting career highs?
Who is doing something?
What do you mean?
I hear someone's vacuuming.
Sorry, that'd be my wife. Oh man, Is that super loud? How about?
Yeah, well, you're gonna have to mute for a second.
She's the worst. All right. Well, let me just leave you with this real quick. So Tyreek Hill's gotten double-digit touchdowns twice in his 5 years, which is right now. Besides that, he didn't have over 7, and he also has never had more than 140 targets. I could see DK Metcalf and Justin Jefferson both doing that. Obviously, maybe we're hoping that this is a new Mahomes, and that's how they're going to do things. But that's what I want to say at that moment while I mute myself.
Yeah.
I think all 3 lists are great. I mean, you got a bunch of great players on all listed.
Wait, I think she finished. I'm interrupting you because I didn't finish yet. All right. Sorry. So Tyreek Hill, he's going to be 27. And then Stephon Diggs is going to be 27 years old. But we just saw what amazing things he could do having a career year with Josh Allen. If this continues and he's on pace for 160 targets every single year, I might have to put him over Tyreek Hill too. Eric, I'm not hating. I really am not hating on Tyreek Hill. He's freaking amazing. But if all of these guys can produce nearly 1,500 yards and 10 touchdowns, I want to go youth. That's just the way I'm looking at it for right now. It's definitely going to be a conversation into the offseason. This is going to change a lot. I round up my top 12 with DeAndre Swift. I loved him coming out, just like Eric did. Just like Eric said with J.K. Dobbins, I loved Swift coming out. He was my second running back, and then he went to Detroit. So I didn't like it. I hated it. I've been proved wrong. I just looked today. He had double-digit touchdowns, over 1,000 total yards. So the guy barely even played. He wasn't on the field that much. Adrian Peterson took too much. Kerryon Johnson took too much. Matt Patricia just sucks. I really like DeAndre Swift. Traded for him yesterday. I was pretty excited about that.
Yeah, we just got to let the offseason play out, and I guarantee this list changes at least 30 more times before September.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it will. Surprisingly, none of us had MT. Michael Thomas on our top 12.
It all comes down to Breeze,
right?
To me. It all stems down to Breeze. And, I mean, same thing with Zeke. He really didn't have an impact this year, so depends all how he comes back and next year if he's not injured and if he can produce again. I'm sure they both will, but
right.
No.
Right. And you had Henry in your top 12. He was 16th for me. I didn't see where it was for Eric, but is that because he's going to be 28 or 27 any day now? And, as great as he can be, can he do it more than another year or two?
I think he could do it for another 3 years.
Wow. With that, I might have to move him up if that's what the case would be.
Yeah.
But that's our top 12 right now. So we just wanted to just dabble a little bit in that. As I said, we're going to keep moving on with this throughout the offseason. There is so much to talk about, so much to consume. So get your notepads ready, get your ears ready. There's going to be a lot coming at you, especially from the Mafia this season.
Did you guys see that WB wrestling match in Tulsa, Mississippi State game?
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. Today I got my Notre Dame hat on where, you, Keenan, and I were about to watch Notre Dame play against Alabama, but it's going to be a game. As long as they can cover the 19.5, I'll feel better.
Yeah, I'll be happy.
They're going to win.
I'll be yeah. Honestly, though, they're probably going to lose, but I'll be happy if they lose by less than 19 points.
Yeah, it really look a lot better.
Yeah.
But yeah, that Armed Forces Bowl, Mississippi State and Tulsa, it was very disheartening to watch. There's no reason if nobody saw it, I encourage you to go look at it, just because it was nonsense. A lot of punches were thrown, kicks were thrown, people were hitting helmets. You're punching helmets. I don't know.
Fun stuff.
People get assault for that kind of stuff in the world, so hopefully there's a punishment. Like I said, Keenan, we were talking beforehand. That is something that made me mad is the conference, I think, tweeted out or put a statement that they're going to look at everything and review it to see if any discipline's necessary. And it's like, what do you mean? How are you going to review this? Like, what else needs to happen? Does someone need to get their killed on the field for them to finally say, "Oh, discipline's going to happen"? Like, you had teams and coaches and everybody was just literally throwing punches at each other.
Yeah, the state troopers on the field.
Yeah, you had state troopers literally had to take care of things. One guy got taken out from his teammates. I don't know. That was very disappointing to see. So hopefully we have better bowl games today. It's going to be interesting.
Go Irish.
Go Irish. And with that, everybody, Happy New Year. Thanks again for listening. Hopefully you had some good championship games this weekend. Last weekend. Hopefully you have none this weekend. If you do have
some this weekend, best of luck.
Yeah, and it's your last. Hopefully your last time being in that league because you should be in the week 16 for the reason of the Chiefs sitting. Eric, anything to close us out?
Have fun.
Have fun. All right.